Now it's time for organizing step 2, labeling. This process takes a little bit of time because you're going to actually review all of the information you already have found, each individual piece of information, and decide which of those sections you just created it's going to go into. You want to make sure you follow these steps and understand they does require some repeating of the steps to make sure everything's done. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our information gathering document, and then we'll copy and paste the table with the information from source A. So we'll do it one source at a time. So just source A into this document. So for example, if this were my source A, I would actually go ahead and select that whole table, Control C to copy it, or edit copy. And I'm going to go back down here where it says your turn step 2 and says copy and paste info gathering source A here. And I would paste that in right there. So I'm taking it from one source. I'm going to copy it over here. We want to copy it over so we can make changes to it, but don't lose what we had to begin with. So once we've got that table put in here, and we'll do it one source at a time, we're going to review and label each piece of information with the section number or color code it belongs in. Remember, every piece of information must have a place to go or it's not going to end up in our finished product. It's okay not to use every piece of information you found. If you decide it doesn't fit any of the sections or doesn't really connect to the rest of the information, no matter if it was interesting or not, we're not going to label it. We could end up using it somewhere else in the paper or project later. So we're not going to delete it. We're just not going to label it right now. So for example, if this was the table I copied over or something similar to it, and this is, again, the sample we'll use. So we have, if we thought that this first one here, what are the animals of tropical rainforest? This personal information. It's talking about animals of the rainforest. So I'm going to go ahead and I will copy and paste that because it goes with section number 1. I'm going to decide that it fits that category, that part of the paper, and I'm going to label it with the number 1. The next one, tropical rainforests provide the countries in which they grow with hugely important resources. These include timber, minerals, and land. I'm going to put that with number 2, causes of animals being endangered. So I'll Control C that, and I'll paste it there. The color coding isn't necessary. I like it because it helps us be able to see things more easily and more visually where things are at. Unfortunately, so that was tropical rainforest. Unfortunately, Indonesia also leads the world with the number of threatened mammals. Okay. And let's just say for argument's sake that we're going to put that with number 3. Doesn't mean it's where it belongs. We're just going to go ahead and put it there for now. And sometimes I didn't get the color there. I can always go back and redo it. Again, if I select the whole cell, I got the color and number. All right, so that's the first step. So we'll go through everything in source A, and we'll actually go through and make sure everything has a place where it goes. The nice thing too about using the colors is that if we feel like if everything ends up in one color, we'll be able to see it really easily that the paper is heavy. So for example, if everything ends up in the problem section, we're going to realize we don't have very much for the solution. Or vice versa. We have very little for the problem, but we have tons of stuff for the solution. Well, is that going to work in the end? This is one way to kind of visually see, do we have enough and is it spread out? So once we've identified all that information where it goes, we're going to do some other additional labeling. In the center column, again, this quoted information. First of all, again, we've already made sure that before we went very far, everything has quotation marks at the beginning and the end, right? Because these are not our words. We want to make sure we know all the way through that it's somebody else's words. So we're going to add the section number before the quotation begins. So this is a 1. So we're going to put a 1 here. This is a 2. I'm going to put a 2 here. And I'm just going to keep going because I've got this set here. So I'm bolding it right now because it's easier for me to see. So again, we're going to pull it into the center row so it's easier to spot when we later on, for future steps, we're going to move more things around. But this is labeling will make it easier. When we move it, we don't forget where it's going to go in the end. Then we're going to add the parenthesis, source letter, page number, parenthesis at the end. So parenthesis is, if you watch me here, that's that shift 9. The source letter, again, this is everything here is A. And if there's a page number, we're going to put that number, parenthesis, and a period at the end. Again, the period goes afterwards. And again, I'll make that bold just because it's easier to see. And here, I'm going to paste that. Oops. I copy and paste that because it's easier to copy and paste as opposed to typing everything all the time. And this is page 6. Now, why do I have page numbers? It could be because this source is a book, or it's because it's PDFs that actually have page numbers. If they had page numbers, you have to take them. If, however, we have a source, in this case, source B, that doesn't have any page or paragraph numbers to it, then we're going to go ahead and just do parenthesis, source letter, parenthesis, period. Again, the period goes after the source letter. You don't have to bold it, but these are steps you need to do. So when we're done with the labeling step, we'll have decided where it goes, and we're going to put a number. That same section number from that source column is going to go inside that middle box. And at the end, we're going to have parenthesis, the source letter, page number if you have it. And again, most cases you don't have page numbers here. We don't have to do paragraph numbers anymore. We used to, but we don't anymore. So if it's a digital document, it's a website, don't need pages, don't need paragraph numbers, but you do want to make sure the source letter is in parentheses at the end of your quotation. So you would need to go ahead and go back and you repeat that for all of your other sections. So again, you go back to your info gathering and you get your source B, and you go back through to figure out where the section numbers are, which one is going to go with. Taking a look at these sections again, and you might find you have to change a section or question. That's okay. But if you're stuck, this is a great opportunity to realize at this point, don't keep going and spend a couple hours on this and realize at the end it's not working. If something's not looking right or not working out the way you think it should, or if you want just to be sure you're on the right track, send me an email, have me take a look at it, come schedule a private Zoom or come to an office hours to get the help that you need. All right, so go ahead, take your turn and do step 2, where you're doing the labeling. Go to it.